Let's talk about customer onboarding for startups, which is obviously a little different than onboarding for traditional small businesses because startups need to focus on high growth and so on. So what should be your goals in the beginning? You need to focus on building long-term, happy, and highly engaged customers who eventually, not right away, eventually invite friends. The mistakes that first-time entrepreneurs typically make are all the things you hear about regularly. Collect emails, collect data, sell, run ads, or what I put in quote unquote asks, asking for a review, asking for a share, asking for a referral, asking for whatever. It's too early because when people first hear about you, they are indifferent. They don't really care. They're not going to lift a finger. And I know that this reality sounds a little harsh, but it's not that the people are bad. They're busy with their lives. And you're just sort of a nuisance at this point, like a new thing they have to do. They're already overwhelmed. So your step one is to compel people to learn about your business. This is just an interesting tweet, an interesting post somewhere that they see and compel, really get them interested. Then after people have checked out your website or app or product, step two is the first engagement or the first interaction they have with your website or app or product. So let's talk about that very first step of them actually using your product. You have to find a way to give value quickly. And inside that statement is hidden another point that it should be really clear how to use whatever your product is. And people watching this, you might have a new type of a hammer, a new website, a new app. So extremely different ideas are possible. So it's hard for me to generalize, oh, you're going to have an app or, oh, you're going to have a website. But generally, make sure that it's extremely simple and clear to use or to start using your product. If it's confusing, people are going to quit. They're not going to take the time to learn. They haven't gotten value yet. A part of giving value quickly is making things intuitive and easy so they can give it a try. For example, if it's on mobile apps, if you have a long sign-up process, it will decrease the number of people who go through that and more people will quit. For example, when I created my apps, on day one, guess what I did? I made people create accounts as soon as they downloaded the apps. And then I saw a huge delete rate. And then I took off the sign up and I gave them features. I let them use the app right away. And guess what? I saw the rate at which people were deleting the apps go down a lot. And it increased my engagement. And with that, revenue increased and everything else increased. Would it be great if I got everybody's email right away? Of course. But you have to make the decision of what you want. And most of the time, the thing to focus on is engagement. Because without real engagement and without giving value, even if you get their email, guess what? You'll send them your email. They're just going to delete because they weren't interested. You didn't get them interested, excited enough. So once you make it clear to use, you give value early, the next step is convenience and regular use. So they do it again and again and again. You want to start turning your product into something that's a part of people's everyday life. And of course, they won't immediately do that. So you have to remind them. How do you remind them? There are a few ways to get people back. Maybe you can run ads, retargeting ads to them. You can promote on social media in case they followed you. If you have their email, you can email them. They can always find your product again through the original way they found your product. Those are all common ways, right? And if you have a unique product, for example, if you have a mobile app, well, you have push notifications that are an option, that are only an option on mobile apps. So every once in a while, you have unique ways to get people back. But generally, it's either retargeting ads, social media. If they subscribe to you on social media, they'll get your messages again, or email. Without that, it's really hard to get people back into their product. So make sure that even though I just told you that it's not good to collect email too early, at the same time, don't collect it too late and make sure that you have some way to get people back because relatively few people will remember you. Again, they're busy. It's not that they're bad. They're just busy. You are the one who needs to compel and interest them. So with that in mind, what are the next goals? You really want to, like I just mentioned, to start making your product a part of people's everyday lives. They don't have to use your product every day, but regularly, like Uber or a game people play, because people who are addicted to some game, they play it a lot and pretty often. Or Uber, once they use it and it's convenient, they will use it the next time and the next time and the next time. And that convenience, it's easy for me to say, make it convenient, but there's a lot of things that have to go into that, right? Let's say in the case of Uber, the price has to be right. It has to be fast. It has to be better than competitors. It has to work every time. So all of these things are built on top of KPIs. Different KPIs will lead to getting all those things right. So actually, this is a work in progress that you'll have to be doing to get the usability just right. This is on you to test and keep improving your product so that it's a yes for all those things. And during the planning of your product, think, is this like a one-time thing, or is this something that people use regularly? For example, a one-time thing may be to speed up their phone. Maybe their phone is slowing down. Well, they do it once and they kind of throw it away. Or something like that where it's like a throwaway. You do it once, it's a tool, it's great, but then people don't use it again. It's really hard to build a business on top of a product to which customers don't really return. So make sure when you're planning, the regular use is a part of your plan. You figured out how to make this a regularly used product that can get integrated into people's lives. And the goal, of course, for you is, if it's an app, it's to get on the home screen of people's phones so that it's right there. They see it every time they open the phone. If it's not an app, obviously there's no such thing as home screen, but whatever the product is, make sure that it's highly visible, always there. Because, out of sight, out of mind. You need to be in sight. That's a huge goal. Once your product accomplishes this, you are a huge part of the way there. Once you are a part of people's lives, this is really when they tell their friends, they share your product, and they spend more money, they buy more premium features, they stay on as customers longer, and so on and so on. All those great things happen, and they almost become your brand ambassadors because they invite friends. But until they get this great value and ease and convenience, nothing happens. So all those things you want, like we mentioned, emails, sales, all those things, if you do them a little too early, you'll stunt your growth. If you do them too late, you'll stunt your growth in another way, like lack of revenue, lack of emails, all those things. So when building a product, you have to be really careful and sensitive of when to include all those things so that you get the most growth, but also the most spending and customer retentions and so on. And for startups, generally speaking, you want to err on the side of growth and engagement, and the revenue is later. It's not always like that, but generally it's like that.